Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Have a great one for you to learn today. We're going to learn how to play Angry Again by the great Megadeth. So this one's got some really cool riffs. Some of the maybe the easier riffs that you'll find Megadeth doing, but this one it's just a really catchy song. And then we got a really cool solo from Marty Friedman that ain't easy, but you know, it's Marty Friedman. It's never gonna be. All right, so before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you'll know when I release a new video. And check out my Guitar Academy. You'll see the link in the description below. I'm offering us I've got a free 7-day trial right now, just so you can try everything out. It's just the home to all my guitar courses that cover everything from complete beginner course to more advanced courses in technique and improvisation and ear training and theory and guitar tone and you name it. So we cover a lot of different styles. Got a great community, so please come join us. You got a free 7-day trial right now to just check it out. All right, so let's jump into this. We are tuned down a half step. So E flat standard tuning. So E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, E flat. All right, so now we have this this really cool harmony line that they do a lot throughout the track. It's not really a harmony line, it's really kind of an octave thing. They're just an octave apart, but so that starts like this. So this would be Dave's part. All right, and then we have Marty Friedman who will play the higher part. All right, so let's start here with Dave's part. We're going to start with the open D, then the first fret on the D, and then we're going to come across to the second fret on the A and third fret on the low E. So these are based around augmented triads that are then moved up a major third or 4 frets on the guitar each time. So then we're going to take that, so moving that up 4 frets, that means the open string moving up to the 4th fret there. So now here's the actual pattern, you're able to see it. 4, 5 on the D string, and then 6 on the A, then 7 on the low E. So then take that up 4 frets, so take it to the 8th fret. Then up 4 more frets to the 12th fret. So now an octave up from that, we're going to have Marty Friedman doing his thing, which is this. All right, so this, since he doesn't use any open strings, is kind of the same pattern done 4 times. So we have 3, 4 on the B string, over to 4 on the G, and then 5 on the D. And then take that up 4 frets. So I will say that I'm not exactly sure. I can't find video of Marty Friedman actually playing this. So he could very well be taking that part right there and doing it here. But for me, it just kind of sounds easier to just keep it on the same string set. I know Mustaine keeps it all on the bottom strings, so we'll just do the same thing for the Marty Friedman's part. So we have this. So after that, move it up 4 frets to the 7th fret. And then up to the 11th fret, same thing. And then the same thing at the 15th. All right, and then we get to the main riff, which is really the verse of the song. And the main riff, there's kind of 2 versions of it, which I'll cover. But the one you're going to hear the most is this. right, so that's going to start here across an E power chord. So low E open, and then the second fret on the A, and the second fret on the D. Then back to the low E open, and then 3 on the A, 2 on the D, and then back to 3, 2 on the A. All right, so we're kind of up to speed. All right, from there we kind of start chugging on the low E power chord. So it's kind of I hit it without the muting, then some low E palm muting on the low E, and then hit it without the muting again. So kind of a mixture of that. So we have this so far. All right, then we kind of start the riff again, but we have a different ending. So it's kind of the same thing, but there was that little tail put on it, which is just back to these major third intervals he's using a lot throughout the song. We have the 5th fret there on the A, I'm sorry, the A note, but it's on the low E string, and then 4th fret there on the A string. So we have this, and then take that down 1 fret and then 1 more. So. All right, then the riff again. And then it basically kind of does an extended version of that interval ending. So it's just doing that a couple of times in a row that we did before. And then the last one, you're gonna hear, he just skips from the first one at the 5th fret on the low E and the 4th fret on the A, down to the last one at the 3rd fret on the low E, the 2nd fret on the A's. So we got this so far. See that last one? You can really heavily mute that last one, just so you're just jumping, you're skipping that one in the middle, and that jumps into this. So that's up to the D power chord off the 5th fret of the A string. Couple hits on the low E there. And then you're gonna stretch back, kind of a stretch here. Keep holding this note at the 7th fret on the D, but stretch back the index finger to the 3rd fret of the A string. And then play the 3rd fret of the low E slight bend, and then to the open E. So we have that, that's the full riff. All right, so that's the main way you're gonna hear it played, but you're also gonna hear, depending on when you're in the song, like when the vocals come in, the first verse, the first time through it, you can hear it this way, which he kind of changes it up a little bit. It looks like this. See how he kind of just jumped right to the ending there? So it's kind of that same riff. So that part without the little major third intervals in. The version with the intervals, and then he goes back. And he goes back to the kind of the first way of doing it, without any intervals. Then he starts to riff again, and just jump to that ending. So you just kind of have to know the song. It's just stuff we've covered already. but it's just kind of structured a little bit differently. So I'll play it real quick again. So this is kind of the second way you'll see that verse played just a couple times in the song. All right, so those are the two. So just get to know the song, and it's mostly that first way I saw playing it with all the intervals. But you will hear that version, kind of a shorter version of that the verse riff, a couple of times. So then we get back to that harmony, not harmony, the octave, that little opening augmented licks that started. That kind of stuff goes again, happens again. That leads us into the chorus. Chorus looks like this. All right, so that's gonna really just doing using a lot of major and minor third intervals on the A and the D string, and you get kind of hitting the low E in between it. So we have this. So that's going to be the 7th fret on the A, 5th fret there on the D. I'll take care of the low E hits in a second. Let's just kind of get the intervals down first. So that's 7 and 5 there, and then down to 5 on the A, 4 on the D, and then back up to the previous chord. Then you're going to jump up here to the 10th fret there on the A, 9th fret on the D, then 9 on the A, 7 on the D, and then down to the 7 and 5 again. So like this. Kind of hold that a little bit. And then we go to the 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D, and then move that up 2 frets. Hit that chord a couple times. So we have this. And then it sort of starts over again. Except right here, you're not going to go down to that chord. You're just going to go from that top chord down to the 9 and the 7, and then jump straight down to the 3 and the 2, and then up 2 frets. So we have so far this. All right, now that's kind of really the main, the whole thing done one time through, and then we kind of start over. All right, so now the second time through, when we get up, so we do start the riff again. And this kind of second half of the riff, when we get back up top again. When we get to that 10 and the 9 up there, you're gonna jump down to this C power chord for this ending. So we have this 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret there on the D. And then the open E hits there. Then move that note on the A string down to the 2nd fret to keep that pinky there at the 5th fret on the D. And then to the A power chord. Still the low E hits in between it. And then backed up to the previous chord. And then that same ending we've done before, kind of pulling down a little bit on the 3rd fret and then on the low E, and then hitting that open E. So the whole chorus. Now pay attention kind of to the hits that I'm kind of in between the chords. I'm adding some hits on the low E. So this. so that is the chorus. The ending chorus, I'll take a look at it. There's a little bit of extended ending, but nothing that we haven't really covered already. But we'll take a look at that when we get there, the kind of the last chorus in the song. So then we go back through the same verse, the same little octave, augmented triad type thing, and then back into the chorus. And then coming out of that second chorus, we get to the bridge section that leads us into the solo. So the bridge section looks like this. All right, so that's going to start here. We're just kind of chromatically going up the power chords on the low E strings. So start with the open E. Now this starts, the hits start on the upbeat. It's like 1, 2, on the upbeat there, and there's 3 hits each time. So just kind of work your way all the way up to the 6th fret. And when you get to the 6th fret, it's going to do the first 3 hits. And then instead of doing the second set of 3 hits, you just do the first 2. And then you jump to that same ending that that we did before. All right, so that's what leads us into the solo. Now, before I cover Marty Friedman's solo, which I will in a second, let's take a look at Dave Mustaine's rhythm parts underneath it, because it does change it up. He does some things a little bit differently here. So here we go. All right, so that takes us back into the verse again after the solo. So we're going to start here. It's kind of just like, we're just going to start with this E power chord up here at the 7th fret. You can hit the low E in there too. And then just the low E, kind of chugging on the low E. So it's that same ending. And then make sure you got to come back up and grab the high E instead of hitting the low E. So we have this. You just basically do this 4 times. Now we have, after you've done that 4 times, he has kind of a variation of the verse riff. So that starts with the same way we did the verse riff. Okay, so we've seen that before. And then we have this. So that's kind of the opening kind of augmented lick that we did for that. We did that earlier in the song. So 0, 1 on the D, 2 on the A, 3 on the low E. Then here, kind of extend it a little bit. So we have that 3rd fret there, right? We go down to 2, 1, then back up 2, 3. So obviously it's the palm muting there. Then we kind of start the riff again. And then what we have is basically the first 2 of those augmented licks that start the song so done in the open position and then 4. So that's, so we have that opening riff done 4 times, and then that riff we just did. and then he moves the key up a whole step. So now, next is, that's one that we get to the octaves in the solo. Things kind of really just kind of lift up. It's a really cool part of the solo. So now, what he's basically doing is he's moving everything that he just did in that we just previously did there up 2 frets. So it looks like this. Everything except that little ending, at least. So we have this 2 on the low E string. So we have this 2 on the low E, 4 on the A, 4 on the D, and then back down to the 2nd fret there on the low E. And then we go 5 on the A, 4 on the D, back to 5, 4 on the A. Now we have that augmented lick that we did, but at the 2nd fret. And then here, that little ending that we're going to add to it, just like we did down here before. So when you get to that 5, go 5, 4, 3, 4, 5. Then you start over again. And then what it does is this same augmented lick down to the 2nd fret to end it. But when you get down to 5, now you just kind of continue going chromatically all the way down. And then when it gets to the open E, it starts the verse again for the verse riff. So we have so far that, so the part of it that's in a different key. All right, so that takes care of the rhythm guitar parts for the solo. Now let me play through Marty Friedman's solo, and then I'll show you how to play it phrase by phrase. All right, some really cool, very stylistic Marty Friedman there with some just really cool, interesting, like little bend releases and vibrato. It was really, really cool, very melodic. So we're gonna start here with this first phrase. All right, so that's just basically just 4th fret on the G, slide up to 9, back down to 4. And then a slight half step bend there with some vibrato on it, and then release it. So, all right, then we have this next phrase. So that's again sliding from 4 to 9 on the G. And then we're going to play 12-10 on the B, then 8-7. Over to 7 on the G. All right, and then we have the star of the show, this really cool kind of open string lick. It looks like this. All right, so slowed down, this basically it's a 3-note lick that we're gonna start with an open string each time. So we start first with the open G string. So I'm hitting the open G, then, so strict alternate picking. then 9-12 on the G. So open G, then 9-12. Then we're going to do the same lick off the B string, except the notes are going to be open B, then 8-12. Then we're going to stretch out a little bit more, take it to the high E string, open high E, then the 7th fret and the 12th fret. Now this one you're going to repeat twice. So we have this so far. And then after you've done that twice up top, you're going to now take the top note, move it down to the 10th fret. So we have the open high E again, 7 and 10 on the high E. Then you're going to take it to the open high E, 10 and 14 on the high E. All right, so from there, it just kind of does this, just open E, then 12, 14, 15, and then play 14, hammer back on 15, pull off to 12, pull off, kind of that deal, over to 15 on the B, back to that 12. So. All right, now from there we have this kind of one of those kind of stylistic bend and release type things, I think. And into a bend there at the 15th fret on the B string, and then he does this really to kind of end that section, which is kind of be playing 12, hammer on 15, and pull back off to 12. All right, and then we have this little lick that ends it, takes us to the next section. So we have this. All right, so we're gonna start here with this. So that's quickly hammering on 12 to 15 on the B, then 12, hammer on 17 on the high E, pull back off to 12. All right, so we have this. Then you're gonna pull off 15 to 12 on the B, over to 14 on the G. So you kind of like that first lick, and that's the end of the first lick. And then, so that's how I kind of break it up in my mind. So that's the end of the first lick, and then the next lick does this. So that's going to be pulling off 15 to 12 on the B, and then when you get to 14 on the G this time, you're going to do a bend and release there, and then pull off to 12, over to 12 on the D. Then quickly roll over and grab the double stop at the 14th fret on the G and the B. And then end it with playing 12 on the G, hammer 14, pull back off to 12. So kind of that second lick slowly. All right, and this is when the key change happens, and we have this. All right, so that's just a bend at the at the 12th fret. I mean, sorry, the 12th fret. The 2nd fret there on the G. Kind of just keep picking and release the bend, and then pull off to the open G. And as you pull off on that open G, you can come up here and grab quickly this. So you shift That open G gives you a chance to shift. So that's going to be 7 on the A, then 5, 9 on the D. So you do that a couple times. And then you kind of go back down the last time to the 5 on the D to the 7 on the A. And then we have this. So that's going to be 6, 7 on the D string to 4 on the D, 6 on the A. And then 4, 5 on the G to 2 on the G and 4 on the D. And now we get to the section where Mustaine changes the key there. And then we have this over. So that's going to start with the octaves here at the 7th fret of the D and the 10th fret there on the B. I'll take that a little bit up to the 9th fret. And here at the 4th fret there on the G, he does another one of those kind of bend and release and then slow bend back. And then we go to, so it slides into the 10th fret there on the B, and then pick it a couple times, and then do a pre-bend, whole step pre-bend, and then release it. And he jumps up to this lick really quick. He's just got to, well, it's just going to be playing 14 on the B, hammer 17, pull back off to 14, and then 2 bends at the 17th fret on the high E. And then this last little fast lick. So that's going to be, you're going to start with 19 on the high E, hammer on 20, on the 20, pull back off to 19, then back to 17 there. So from there, you're going to now go back to 19, play 19 to 17, and then play 20, 19, 17 on the B. So we have this. So you kind of want to look at the 6 notes that you're working with here, just those 20, 19, 17 on both the B and the high E. So you first, when you don't go straight down though, just like we covered, we did that first, and then we went down to the bottom note. And then from there you go all the way back up. Then up to the 22nd fret, into a bend. So at the beginning there's a little bit of legato. And then when you get down to the B string, I kind of just start picking it up. All right, so another just great solo from Marty Friedman there. And then we get back into the same verse, so the same verse riffs we've looked at before, and the same little, not harmony, the little minute stuff again that takes us to the chorus. Now this is the last chorus. This is a little bit extended. So it's extended in a couple ways. Not only is it done twice, it's also the ending of the first time through has a different, instead of just going back here, it basically extends that. So just be aware of that. It's just that same ending to the chorus. And then do that again. Just start at the, and since this, then you repeat the whole chorus again there. All right, and then we have that ending of the track, which is that the augmented licks. All right, so, but it doesn't go all the way up like that. It just does the first couple. Sorry, the first three. So you're gonna skip the end of it there. So you jump straight to it. Skip to this ending. Instead of going up to the last one, you just go. Which is just 2, 1, 2, 3 on the low E. All right, got some really fun riffs. It's really got a great groove to it, and of course a killer solo. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.